at 9:30 here on the Mammoth Crest. Day one of my Sierra High Road experience. Sitting down for second breakfast, which is my instant oatmeal with protein powder and instant milk powder and freeze-dried berries and walnuts. And yeah, feeling all right so far. I just came over that pass and Duck Lake is up ahead there, and just after Duck Lake I hop onto the John Muir Trail for a little before I get off trail for the last couple miles of the day. There's these grasshoppers all over the place. I don't know if you could hear that, but they sound exactly like what I would expect a rattlesnake to sound like. It is 7:45 on my day 2. Last night I camped right about there. There was a nice little flat spot. About an hour and a little bit to get up here. This is about 4 or 5K off trail. There's really something so unique and special about climbing through this stuff that, yes, people have passed through before, but it really feels like nobody has been through before. Really in the middle of nowhere here. It's so cool. And next, I'll be heading over that ridge there. I didn't make it quite as far as I hoped yesterday. My intended camp was down by the lake there. But given that I'm going over that pass, I realized I can just stay, follow the contour line basically, stay at the same elevation and get to that pass. There doesn't seem to be any impassable obstacles there, so I don't know why the GPS track that I got off some other people have them going down to the lake. It seems unnecessary. Pace is maybe not quite what I need to finish this hike, so we'll see. About halfway through today, I'll be down at a trail that could take me back to the JMT, and I'll have to assess whether that's the plan or whether I keep going off trail and consider cutting off some miles at the end of the hike, because it's pretty hard to climb over this at my intended speed of 2.2k an hour. We'll have to see, have to adapt. And that was a pretty incredible talus field to cross. Took another hour from pass right about there and coming across the top. A lot of detours around some big boulders and steep drops, but I don't know, I'm inclined to think it was still faster than going down to the lake and back up. That's Ross Finch Lake, and now I descend down here. I enjoy this, but I honestly don't think I'll be able to do much more off trail. It's very slow going, and for some reason I want to tell myself that oh, this is a particularly hard bit, but I have no reason to think any of the rest will be any easier. I love that experience, but I just don't have the pace to do it on this trip. Well, kind of enjoyable and cool to do the route finding, is just very, very slow, and it's really hard to tell. Even I downloaded satellite views and everything, but it's really hard to tell how fast you're going to be able to go. And I just can't take the chance that I'm going to fall way behind and just run low on food and just run behind my schedule and then make things more complicated later on to figure out how I'm going to finish off. Potentially just have to skip the whole second half if I'm too late. So had to make the call about noon yesterday to change my route again, get myself back onto the main trail. And I'm at a beautiful spot right now, and I'm starting to enjoy this again. I was kind of down for a little bit, even though this John Muir Trail is world class and absolutely incredible in its own right. I'd kind of gotten my hopes up, and it was a bit of a compromise to have to give up on the high route. But what I'm thinking is I want to try to have a good pace and get my first section done until my resupply, and then I'm hoping I can sneak in a couple of off-route sections on the second part. A bit disappointed that I'm going to have to do that, but I definitely anticipated this coming in and kind of had that ego of like, oh, I can do it, I can push through it, whatever. And to some extent I can, but it also takes all the joy out of it. I didn't give myself enough time for the distance I'm planning on, and it's really not that fun to rush. Maybe some people like to power through at speed. Yeah, I have to realize what's my favorite part about being out here, and make the best of the time I have here. So. Lost inside my head, it's more than I can stand. The pressure builds, and when it breaks, I find out who I am. Don't hold back, just keep it rolling down that track. Even when you're on my day 4, this is the highest point so far. At 12,000 feet about, starting to get more snow. There's this really cool stone building that's dedicated to John Muir. I'm heading down from Bishop Pass to my resupply in South Lakes, and I've just come across this really macabre scene. There's heaps of bones that look like they're from deer, and it's really bizarre. I mostly just see legs, and there seems to be more than 1 or 2 deer's worth. And this is a super steep section with switchbacks. I can't tell if a bunch of deer fell here and died. Anyway, kind of startled me. Day 6, I resupplied yesterday, and I'm now off trail again. So I just came up the valley this morning and across all this. Pretty challenging, gotta take it slow, make sure I don't make any mistakes when you're out here alone. I'm now headed across here, trying to keep the elevation to another pass over there. But 2.5 hours later, that was the pass from the last video. Made my way through this. Had to descend a whole bunch down into there's a lake down there. I thought I could stay high, but everything got really steep ledges, so I had to descend a whole bunch and climb all the way back up. Took forever. I think this is called Potluck Pass, but unfortunately it seems like I'm the only one who brought anything to eat, so that's no fun. In an earlier video, I said I was kind of dejected about having to skip so much off-trail travel, but I think I have my fill. The off-trail here is pretty consistently brutal. There's no real easy sections, very slow and tedious. I might be quite happy not doing 115 or so kilometers of it. But instead, it'll probably end up being like 20, maybe. That might be enough. I don't know what to do. But yeah, I think my head isn't quite in this the way I thought it would be, or the way I hoped it would be. I think I hyped it up a lot in planning. It is an absolutely beautiful spot here, that's for sure. But I'm honestly really tired of this off-trail stuff. I don't know if I'll be rejuvenated in the morning. I kind of just want to get back on the trail. As much as I'd romanticize this off-trail travel, I don't seem to have it in me. Day 7, I'm at Pinchot Pass, which is my second pass for the day. Pretty great spot. I'm doing pretty well. Now that I've fully committed to the JMT, I think I've settled into a new routine that I'm enjoying now. So things are good. Day 9, I just reached the top of Forester Pass. I'm at 13,200 here, and despite being on the trail, the terrain is pretty tough. But the other side of Forester's Pass is pretty epic view. It drops down super steep. There's some switchbacks that are going to go down real fast. And then, it's hard to see from here maybe, but there's a trail meandering through there where I'll be headed. But geez, this was hard enough with a trail going over this endless talus. The trail that the high route would take would have just come up on the far side of the ridge here at pretty close to the same elevation. It is no joke to go off trail for the whole thing. I definitely underestimated what the high route would be. Not only that, I kind of misjudged the degree to which I would enjoy it. This entire range seems to be pretty consistent, really, really difficult terrain. And so, I don't know, it's not as if I actually feel like I'd want to come back and try to do the high road again some other time. Maybe this range is not the one that I'm super keen to do off-trail right on. So, maybe things turned out the way they should have. Day 10, and my last evening on the trail. I'm at Guitar Lake, which is just at the foot of Mount Whitney, which is just catching the last light. I've got my first and only cowboy camp set up here. Looking forward to that. I haven't really been able to do it before because the mosquitoes have actually been somewhat annoying. Definitely not a bad spot for my last night. And I actually got here quite a while ago. I've been hanging out, but I couldn't really carry on because from here on out, it's just climbing up the mountain where there will be nowhere left to camp. Overall, curious trip in some ways. I guess it ended up fairly different than my original plan, but probably better in the end in terms of what I actually like. Yeah, I guess I'm pretty pleased with it, but a little bit aware of not having known myself well enough to know what I should have planned in some ways. So I'll reflect on that in terms of what I do for future trips.